Is it recording? Hello! So, my name is Janelle Foster. Of course, you already know that. But anyway, this is the Logos Hope Galley. And as you can see, there's smoke coming from inside the galley because there is jerk chicken in the oven. Today is August 4th, 2012. And it is no coincidence that the Jamaicans are doing so well in the Olympics. And my friend, the chef, asked me to assist with making jerk chicken for the ship's company this weekend. So she asked me to do jerk chicken and rice and peas. And I'm so blessed because, you know, Independence Day is coming and I won't be able to be at home, but I'm so glad I had this opportunity. Let me show you what it is. It smells so good in here. I wish you could be here to see the success of the jerk. Of course, it's because of Ryan's oven, but still, you know. This is the rice and peas. It's not finished yet, but it will be going in the oven shortly and it will be cooked and ready for eating in about an hour. This is a nice little sauce for the chicken. It's the leftover spices from the jerk sauce, and there's ketchup and sugar, and it's so good. Okay, let's get to the main event. Let me get to the chicken. Oh, that's Anne, by the way. She's from Taiwan. She just sees the pepper. Thank you. Thank you for introducing me. The main event. The jerk. Look at this chicken. This is the spicy one with the pepper that everybody's afraid to eat. Of course, we don't have scotchy. There's no scotchy on the ship, but we may do with chili, and let me tell you, I kid you not, it's finger licking good. Let me show you this one. Come down here. Right. This is the mild one without the pepper everybody wants to eat. Now look at this. Tell me this is not real jerk chicken. That is bird chicken skin, and that's how it should look. I tasted it. Oh my gosh.
It tasted good.
And this is Gary, and he helped. He helped so much in the process to eat the chicken. He's from Australia. This is
pretty good.
It's so much. Look, I tasted a piece. I can't wait to eat this. I don't want to cry today. I told Ryan I don't want to cry in front of her. But I thank the Lord for this opportunity.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Free Radical Life, where Jesus is the only way, the absolute truth, and the abundant life. Jesus is the Free Radical Life. Guys, today's Testimony Tuesdays, and it's looking a little bit different. So I'm in a little bit of traffic going home, and I thought, you know, let's switch things up a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So today is part 2 of my testimony of my time spent in the Philippines, right guys? I really hope you can hear the video. You should be able to hear it. You're not going to hear the outside noises. You might see cars passing by. Don't worry about that, right? So, you know guys, well, I forgot to the scripture first, but of course I'm not going to be careless on the road and be reading from the Bible while I am driving. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of homework today, right? Or a little bit of classwork. Just go to Revelation chapter 12 verse 10 to 11. And this is where John is recording that the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our God and of his Christ, his son Jesus Christ. And you know, the scripture says that the accuser of the brethren has finally been cast down, that accused the people of God day and night. And the word tells us in verse 11 that they, the saints of God, overcame the devil by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Alright guys, so don't worry if you can't see me too clearly in this video, you can hear the audio. Guys, it's really a big deal to know that in the end, we win. What that means is that God knows the end from the beginning, so we have already won. So, you know, I've heard pastors put it this way, some preachers say it this way. We're not fighting for victory, but from victory, right? So, when we get the opportunity to share our testimony about what God has done, we should not hide it. We should shine our light, because as we share, others will be encouraged, and even we ourselves in our daily lives. You know, there's power in sharing your testimony. You may not see it. You know, sometimes we think when we do one thing, we expect a return the same way that we do it. You may give to someone and that person may not give back to you. You may share your testimony and it may not impact you the way that you thought it would. But it will lead you to living an abundant life and walking in breakthrough in your life in so many different ways. Right, guys? So today I want to continue my testimony about my time in the Philippines. So last time I shared with you guys about Subic Bay. I shared with you about Cebu, a little bit about Manila and Subic Bay, right? So today I'm going to talk about the dry dock, and I'm going to talk about some challenge teams and different things that happened in the dry dock, and also just kind of give you a little briefing on the other two ports I visited in my second year on board. So guys, I had hinted in the first video, we were in Subic Bay, which is kind of like a former U.S. naval base. So if you go there now, you will see a lot of U.S. Army vessels come there to do different things, maybe outfitting, things like that, to go to different countries in the area. They still do some work in Southeast Asia, so you'll see them there from time to time. And so while we were there, we were supposed to be in Subic Bay for 3 months doing the dry dock. Dry dock is really a fascinating time, as I had told you guys about it. It's like you go into a dock and all the water is drained out so you can see the outside of the ship. So we had to do a lot of work inside and outside, scraping off paint, repainting the hull and things like that. And that dry dock was actually to prepare the ship for a bigger project that would have happened 2 years later, the power project to replace generators and do some outfitting for the ship, because the ship was not a new ship when the organization bought it. So those things are normal. Dry docks are normal for ships in general, but that particular dry dock was supposed to prepare the ship for that major project, right? Well guys, that never took no 3 months. That took us like a whole 9 months. After a while, people started getting sick of it, and they were like, I didn't sign up for this, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to go tour the world. That was one outlook, and another outlook was that because of the nature of the dry dock, it really was physically, mentally, and emotionally extensive, and spiritually too. It really stretched you. We were told about dry docks when we just went, and we were like excited because a lot of people love to eat food, guys, and love to eat food. So they told us, oh, dry docks are fun because you know, we eat different food and everything is different, and it's just a different vibe on board. Everybody's more bonded and all these things. Granted, things did change a lot on board. If you read my book, you will read the extent. I can't tell everything in this video, guys, because we're going to be here all day. But the bottom line is, for example, we didn't have any AC on board in the dry dock. And half of ship's company had to go on shore because of the nature of the works, and we had no air conditioning and what was happening. It did not make sense to have the full complement of ship's company on board during that time. And so there were approximately 400 of us, so half of us were on shore at some point while half was on board. So what the ship's management did, and I mean, I have to hand it to these guys, they planned this thing out to the T, and even when it was extended, their planning capabilities. I really enjoyed working with the ship's ministry because planning and execution systems, I mean, clap, bravo, just like epic. Of course, they're humans, they make mistakes, but I was just so appreciative of how things run in the ship's ministry. It was really, really amazing. So what happened is that there were 3 months, and they had split the 3 months, I think, into 3 phases, because, yeah, each phase was 4 weeks, right? I'm correct. So the dry dock was set to start in April and end April, May, June, right? So in April, the first phase, I went out on what they call a challenge team. So a challenge team basically is a team where a group of persons are put together by the management. I don't know what them used to choose who is in the group. You go on this team and you work in the community, whichever, it could be in the country that you're in, or if they have partnerships in other countries nearby, they would actually fly out that team. So we had some persons going out later in the dry dock to like Korea, to Japan, and to other places, especially, for example, where there were other offices for the organization and they needed help. Persons went to the United States to work in the storehouse or the book storehouse. So as the dry dock wore on, they found different places to send persons that needed assistance in the ship's ministry, because the ship's ministry is not just on the water. There are a lot of land-based ministries that work. It's one organization, the ships is just one arm of it, and so a lot of land-based support is there for the ship's ministry as well. So essentially what happened is that, let me just check my time on this thing. Okay, good. So what happened is that the first phase in April, I was put on a team to go out. So I wouldn't have been on board when I was on board when the ship went into the dock, but to be on board when they started, I was there as well, yeah, when I started outfitting the ship. So they were covering the carpets with plyboard and things like that, and stripping down different cabins and, cabin reassignments, different things like that. So I had the privilege of going on a challenge. So I'm going to share the testimony, like, how it went. I'm not going to separate anything. I'm just going to do it in sequence. So I went on this team to a place called Das Marinas. And it was a city in a place called Cavite. Cavite is south of Manila, so we had to travel to Manila to get there. So that was another encounter I had with Manila. Because I told you guys in the first video, I didn't come off the ship in Manila. Manila didn't tickle my fancy, for want of a better expression. Guys, there's this really big truck in the lane beside me and it's making a lot of noise. I'm sorry about that, okay? So, myself and three other young ladies, so it was 4 ladies and 2 guys, we went to this team in Cavite, and I was a team leader, whoop-de-doo. They put me to the team, and my assistant was a guy from New Zealand, and so that was nice having him on the team. Being on the team with all of them, I really enjoyed working with them. So it was an interesting team because I was middle-aged. 2 of the girls were way younger than me. A friend of mine that joined with me on the ship, she was about, how much older was she? She was about 6 years older than me. So we were basically in the same age group and we were at a similar level spiritually. In terms of spiritual maturity, we had that in common. So it was nice having her on the team, getting to know her better, and then one of the other guys was a little bit older than all of us, but it was still cool. So that was how our team was. So being in Das Marinas, we went to a local church there, and we worked with the youth in the vacation Bible school that they had, because it was summer, approaching summer. And we worked in the vacation Bible school there. We helped to do some classroom painting. We did a lot of outreach. The church organized for us to do outreach all over, and it was a blessed time. The name of the church is actually Blessed Church Das Marinas. Guys, the time that I spent with these people was so amazing. I told you guys already. There's this thing that they call Filipino hospitality. The Filipinos are something else. This church actually has a home church in, oh my gosh, which country is it? I think it's Korea. I'm not sure. I don't want to say the country and be mistaken. So this church actually has like a parent church in another country. And, they told them that we were coming, and they were so excited to have us as international visitors and missionaries. And they fed us like nobody's business. They took care of us, guys. They turned 2 of their classrooms into bedrooms for us, and we slept on the ground on these mats, but that was fine. Part of why they call it challenge teams as well is because you'll be doing things you're not accustomed to. On the ship we'll have our rooms, we'll have our beds, we'll have running water, everybody. They may send you somewhere, may not always have running water, it may not always have the things that you're used to, and there are different challenges that you would have to, overcome. But essentially, the mission of the challenge team is, apart from stretching you as a person, is really to expose us to what's happening in the real world and to be part of what God is doing in different communities. Because when you're on the ship, to be honest, guys, you can become comfortable. If you're on the ship all the time, you just go for one sea day, that's it, and you're traveling around with the ship and you're working in a department, you just go and have your fun, you spend your money and enjoy visiting these countries. That's not the goal of the ship's ministry. But if you're on board, you can get that mindset, like, I'm just going to be here, going to these places. But the purpose of the ministry, and I am happy to say, based on what I've observed, no one on the board really did that. We knew why we were there. We knew we were there to share the gospel. We were there to encourage people to build each other up, and also to build each other up as Christians. So that was a blessing. We did just come and us, we made friends and we had our fun and stuff like that, but it wasn't all about, I'm here just to live it up and just to not go anywhere. Even though persons were disappointed about us not moving from the Philippines quicker, I can understand. I wanted to see other places, because that comes with the territory. You're visiting different countries, so we kind of feel like, I want to see this place. So at this challenge team, it was just really a beautiful time that we had there. We were able to minister to persons who are Catholic and kind of understand more, where they're coming from. It was heartbreaking too, because as I said, they're very steep in Catholicism in the Philippines. So we didn't really try to convert anybody. We just went and ministered to them. One of the things that I wrote about in my book that challenged me was the fact that because we were missionaries, our hosts kind of expected us to be everything. They thought we were healers, pray for this person, encourage this person. And everywhere we went, it's like, in one sense, they thought we were I don't want to say miracle workers, but because we were a novelty, one, and two, I mean, they expected that we would be spiritually sound and things like that. Not that they were not, but they allowed us so much freedom. So if I'm just saying, if, for example, we were a group of people that were inculcating or indoctrinating people into a cult, it would have been so easy, It would have been easy. I want to say it would have been easy, because if they know what the right doctrine is, they should be responsible enough to say, hey, no, you can't bring that here, because that's not why we brought you here, and this doctrine that you're teaching is wrong. But thankfully, we're on the same page. We believe the same thing about the Bible, about the gospel, about the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And so it was a little bit challenging, because they looked up to us for everything. They planned the schedule, but they allowed us to just be free. While it's a good thing, also it was kind of pressuring, because we are human, we get tired, and we were always on the move with them. And even when we came back to the base, the Filipinos loved, because we are novelty, they want to stay up all night and talk and sing, and oh my gosh, I'd be in my bed and hear the guys downstairs singing, and I'm like, y'all don't get tired? The guys from my team with some of the pastors, some of the young people, and it was just crazy, because we were at the church, and the church has like a little basic school, so they converted to other classrooms for us, and even outfitted them with bathrooms, because they didn't have bathrooms in them. And it was a beautiful time that we had there. Also, I experienced some spiritual warfare while I was there, and I have a video about how I got delivered from a generational curse, and that story starts on that challenge team. So you can go and watch that video, so I don't keep this video for too long, make this video too long. So it was a beautiful time that we had there. We went all over the place, guys, and we had the privilege of sharing with people. The people were so open and so warm, and it was just a blessing. I have a little challenge now when I take photographs, and I'm telling you, I'm wondering if it started in the Philippines, because they always wanted to take pictures. Everywhere you go, picture tayo, isapa means one more. They always want one more picture with you. I'm just like, wow, the young people in that church, they were such a blessing. They have an amazing musical ability in that. Oh my goodness, the Filipinos are something else. And it was just amazing to be around them, and they made me feel so welcome. A lot of them just were drawn to me, and I was able to share with the young women and encourage them. It was just a blessing, whole blessing, guys. So after that team, what happened after that team? I'm trying to remember. I had this planned out. After that team, I went on another team. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened, guys. I'm trying to remember clearly. Yes, I did. I went on another team, because I didn't come back to the ship or get a break right after. I went on another team, and we went to a children's home that was near to where the ship was based, but it was kind of like in the mountains, because Subic Bay is surrounded by mountains as well. Even though along up, as I was telling about the poverty in the city there, after you go through Subic Bay to the city gate, from there inside going in town is a lot of poverty. On the outskirts of Subic Bay, there are actually a lot of hills. And so we went to a place called Zambales, and we went to a children's home for the Aita. So the Aita people are the indigenous people of the Philippines. And the pastor at the first church I went to for my challenge team said, oh, they kind of look like you. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm really curious. And again, guys, I wrote about that in my book. It's an epic testimony. And please go and get the book. I'm not trying here to build sales. I'm just telling you that it's really a blessing. If you can't afford to buy the paperback, buy the ebook. Just read the book. That will encourage you. It would motivate you to step out and do great things for God, because God is on your side, right? And so is this a police? It's not. Sorry, guys. Got a traffic director. So yeah, the host pastor of the first team told me a little bit about the Aita people, and what he told me about them really was that they were basically outcasts in the society. They don't look like the standard Filipinos. They don't have straight hair, straight faces, straight nose. They're shorter, their faces are more round, they have more kinky type of hair. They were basically outcasts. They lived in the hills mostly, and they didn't go to the Filipino schools. They didn't work together with the Filipinos much. They weren't encouraged to fit into the society. And I don't want to say I was angry, but it was heartbreaking for me to hear that. And I remember I said a prayer to the Lord that I really want to meet these people. And again, go buy the book, because if I talk about everything that I wrote in the book and the testimonies, you guys, one, won't buy the book, and two, this testimony will never end, guys. Because you know, when God has done so much for you, you have to try and condense it so that persons will be able to glean from it and not be too overburdened by you just talking, you know. Yeah, I'm on the, what they call this in America, freeway. It's not a freeway, we call it the toll road. I'm finally escaped the traffic, guys. I'm on my way now, praise the Lord. Alright, so when I went to this place now called Zambales, the Aita Children's Home now, it was like, wow. I can take off my glasses now, guys, no sun not shine. You get to see my face! Yeah. So I went to Zambales and we met these children, and wow, it was so amazing to be there with them and get to know them. And they took to me, of course, they took to me so quickly. I had locks at the time, and my skin color and their skin color is similar. How eye shape and how their shape is similar, our facial features are similar. And I remember one young man came to me and he said, you know, you look like me, and he said he really appreciated me, like almost when we were leaving, because I accepted him for who he was. And again, I, you know, did my best while I was there to really pour into them and encourage them to see themselves how God sees them. These people are so peace-loving, they're so fun-loving, you know, as they're very introverted and very, because of what they have been told about themselves, they're very, you know, hesitant and things like that. And that did kind of annoy me, because I said them people are pretty. And I made a joke in my book, like, if these women were in Jamaica, you're the Jamaican man would have just like be all over them, because they're so beautiful, but they were not seen that way in their own society, and it was heartbreaking. So on this team, again, we were part of the Vacation Bible School there. We worked a lot with the young people because they live at the home. Children live at the home, and they have schools in the area, and also this particular school, they have like high schools in the area because this is a children's home, so they teach them there. But what we discovered was that a lot of the children there, they came from the villages, the Aita villages surrounding, because as I said, it's really hilly. And so one of my highlights being on this team was that we were able to visit a lot of Aita villages. Because what this church actually did, it was a church as well. This pastor planted, and the host church that they're from, they have a lot of churches in the Philippines that have host churches in other countries. So they planted, every Aita village I went to in that area, they planted a church there for the Aita, and, you know, share the gospel with them in their language. And so we went to like 3 or 4 different churches during our 4-week stay there to visit and to meet the Aita there, to share with them, to support them. And it was just interesting to see the huts that they live in and stuff like this. And sorry, not the huts that the churches were built in, and the Aita homes that were nearby. I don't think we didn't actually go into an Aita home, I just remember that. But we went to the churches, and the people lived even further from where the churches were, so we didn't like go into their homes or anything. We just went to where the churches were. And yeah, it was just a blessing to be able to meet with these people, lived up in the hills. I mean, I remember one of the churches we went to, we had to stop because there was no more. We didn't even drive on the road. We drove on a road, and then afterwards with a dirt track. But then the track ended, and we had to trek it up into the hill, and it was just so breathtaking to see that view. Oh my goodness. I was like, I will live here. You know, it was just amazing to be part of that. So that was the second phase of the dry dock, which would have been the second month. And the third phase, which would have been the third month, which was when the dry dock was supposed to end, I went back on board, and I was able to be part of the galley team, working in the kitchen and also working in my former department, the cleaning department again. And on the fourth phase, when the dry dock extended now, I went on another team, and I was a team leader on the second team. Did I forget to mention that? I was a team leader on the second team. But on the third team, I was not the team leader. So another thing that happened during the dry dock was I had moved from the cleaning department, and I was working as a secretary now to one of the directors on board. And so, you know, we would have like meetings and take minutes and stuff. We had to close on the office because there was not really much stuff to do. During the dry dock, what usually happens is like all the offices are shut down. The ship is closed to the public, so only essential services like the food, the cleaning, you know, everyone that's on board, though half the ship's company is off, and who is on board is put into these departments. And so now and again we would have meetings and things like that, and we would take minutes, but most of the dry dock was really physical work. So being back on board, guys, there are 12-hour work days. We initially worked 6 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m, like legit. And we had one lunchtime and we had 2 break periods, so that made it manageable. But after a while, the works were, I think what happened, they told us what happened is that they had discovered some other things that needed to be taken care of. That is why the dry dock extended, right? So essentially what ended up happening is that we had 5. The ship's management decided, okay, it's really long, let's just extend the dry dock time and cut down the work days so that people are not overly stressed. So the work days were cut to 5, and then we had 2 off days. It was still 12 hours, but we had 2 off days. It helped, but a lot of persons became burnt out during that time, or after. I know of some persons that went home really just broken. It was heartbreaking, but it happened. The essential services were there, but most of the work was being done in the engine room. So persons who were engine officers, persons who were deck crew, they were like really the core of this. So people like me, who maybe they would have asked to help, because later on the dry dock I would join what they call the flex team. And the flex team were a group of persons that were assigned to work in the engine room that were not actually engine workers. So we had to get like some mini hands-on training quickly to kind of help with the works that were going on in the engine room, right? So it was a lot. I was working in the kitchen, as I said, in the 3rd phase, and back in the cleaning department as well, 2 weeks I think in each. And then on the 4th phase I went back out on a team, and this team was actually no longer posted. It was really nearby. And guys, this team was great. Similar things again that we did. No, actually this one was different. We did a lot of evangelism on this team. We did a lot of like campus ministry, going into schools, going into communities where a lot of children were, and doing like different community activities with the children there. We did that. So we did in the 4th phase. In the 4th phase as well, the climax for my deliverance came from the spirit of fear. Again, guys, go watch that video. It's there. It's like the first testimony video I posted, and it's a really great testimony that I think you would be blessed by. So that's the 4th phase. 4th phase was really basically me being delivered from the spirit of fear. And as I said, some of the work that we did was campus ministry. And I share about it in my book and what it was like. So the 5th phase, I went back on board, and I had to go back early because of what took place on that 4th phase team, and kind of recuperate physically, mentally, and emotionally as well, spiritually too. And then I got some light duties to do for the 5th phase. I went back into the cleaning department again just to do light duties and get back on my feet. And that was basically the 5th phase. I think that was that same phase. Was it? No, guys, I'm not getting the phases too mixed up, but everything is as clear as it used to be in my mind in terms of sequentially. So I did join the flex team. I was put to work in the engine room, and that was so much fun. In the beginning, it was not fun because it's a lot of physical work, and I'm using wire brushes. I've never used a wire brush before, and guys, I really built some serious muscle in that. Wow, that guy does reverse really fast. I really built some serious muscle in that department. I really enjoyed working there. So much work that we did, but I was up for it. We were responsible. Well, I didn't take up no pipes, guys. I ain't got no testosterone like that. I got a little bit of testosterone. They say women have a little bit. I ain't got it like that. So the chunky guys, the guys that had all the testosterone, you know what I'm saying? They took out the big old heavy pipes out of the engine room because all the pipes and the floor plates had to come out. My goodness, when I think about it, I'm like, I can't believe we did all of that stuff. We had tanks in the engine room that people were painting, and they had to feed oxygen in there because otherwise they would die. I remember inhaling paint. I remember one girl getting high off the paint and me feeling my head swimming because of it, and having to take different breaks between painting pipes and foreplay. So I had to wire brush them first, then we had to wipe them with the thinner, then we had to paint them, let them dry, give them a second coat. Guys, it was so much work. I remember someone holding up floor plates and me tying it. When I think about what we did, I'm like, we put ourselves in some serious precarious situations. I don't know how, it has to be the grace of God. No incidents, like it was just I remember only maybe 2 incidents with wire brushes where persons got injured, but that was it. Apart from that, no one died, no serious injuries, not to my knowledge of, at least. It was just amazing. And initially I was excited about being in the flex team, and then after I was like, nah, I don't want to do it again. So when they placed me in the team, I was like, I don't know if I'm sure about this, but I enjoyed it so much. I worked with the engine crew and the deck guys. It was so much fun. And it wasn't just me, it was a group of us, as I said, because they group persons and put them in different teams and different phases. So this is phase 5, yeah. In phase 6 now, I was put on another challenge team, and persons were like, okay, are you ready? Can you go back on a team since what happened with you on the 4th team? Do you think you'll be able to go again? And I was really ambivalent because I didn't know if I had healed enough mentally. I just didn't know if I was ready to go back out on a team, because guys, let me tell you something. So when you're going out on these teams, you're basically opening up yourself up to a lot of spiritual warfare, because you don't know the spiritual atmosphere you're going into. And that was what happened to me on the 4th team. It happened, but God allowed it because he knew that he wanted to deliver me from this thing that I'd been holding on to for years before I went to Logos Hope. And so even though it happened that way, it was God's design, and I would have chosen it to be different, to be honest. But nevertheless, okay, my time is still running. He saw it fit to do that, right? So guys, this video is looking kind of grainy though. Okay. So what ended up happening now is that I went out on this team with 6 other girls. You never hear so much girl I go on team together. I never hear that from the band. Sorry guys. So it was a blessing to be on that team. The Lord used us in such an amazing way. Again, we went with the Aita guys. We had an opportunity to go with the Aita at another, it wasn't a children's home, it was a Bible school. So like, they were older. These were young people that were training to become lay ministers in Aita churches. And it was so beautiful to be there with them. I'm just remembering them now. The Filipinos, the way that they love you. If you have no one to love you, go to the Philippines, guys. Get yourself into a Filipino church if you're feeling unloved and nobody don't care about you. Get yourself in a Filipino church. Trust me. And even by extension, an Aita church. These people love on you so much. Oh my gosh, guys, they're police officers on the road. Oh my gosh, are they looking into vehicles? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just videoing something here. Okay, guys. Oh, freak out. Oh, it's a state of emergency, something, right? Not state of emergency, but yeah, whatever. Guys, I live in Jamaica, and you just go watch Jamaica news. Be careful, but explain to the world what in Jamaica right now. So anyway, let me turn on this light so I can see my face, because the night is coming down. I'm almost finished. So what ended up happening is that I went on this team, and we were able to observe some things that the pastor may have been doing not according to biblical principles, and just gently share with him some of the things that could, be causing certain kind of spiritual warfare that we had encountered there, we had seen in some of the students there. And he took it gracefully. It was a blessing to be able to share with him. And as I said, they listened to us. This was a different team. We didn't feel so put up on a pedestal, and that was refreshing, but we served them. What they wanted us to was basically to prepare whatever. They didn't put us up on a pedestal, but again, you're here for 4 weeks. What do you want to do? I'm like, what do you mean we want to do? What do you want us to do here? We were in charge every week of what we were going to do. So we're about to come up with lesson plans where we're gonna teach different things, and it was a stretch, but it was a blessing. And I wasn't the team leader, guys. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. I don't want to keep leading no more team. It was hard at one point because I was fighting again this thing that I fought before, wanting to be in my own space, and so that was a challenge for me. But I endured, and I'm happy that I did. And leaving them was so bittersweet. I remember them. It's been so many years now, but I still remember when we left to go back to our base. Wow, these young people, they've had such an effect on my life. I have a lot of memorabilia from them, like letters and things that they gave us from each team. Yeah, so from time to time I read them again, and some of them I even email them and find out how they're doing if they have an email. And I think I'm actually due for that when I think about it now, you know, to reach out to a couple of them and find out, hey, it's been a couple years, how are you doing? You know, so yeah, guys, the Philippines is an amazing place to go to. In my second year, we went to Puerto Princesa, and by that time, I was not working in the IT department. Guys, that's a whole testimony by itself. Like, I worked all the whole of logo, so like, there's nowhere I have not served. And it was actually a prayer request. I don't know why I made a prayer request, but it was an exhausting prayer request. But I'm grateful that I was able to touch so many different departments and just experience what it's like to work in all of them. And the dry dock provided that as well. You know, had the dry dock not been extended, I wouldn't have been able to serve in all the departments to find out what it was like. Being in the engine and deck, being in the galley, that was just amazing. Being in the book fair as well, because when I was in the IT department, you know, I had to do some things in the book fair. And sometimes people, they would page and say, oh, if you like to go and help out in the book fair, you can go and help. So I would do that, you know, from time to time, or in the art cafe. Puerto Princesa, it was a quiet port for me because I was in IT, and I remember being at IT duty. I didn't do much in that port. Then after that, I went to San Fernando, and that's where God just opened up a great opportunity for me to serve the deaf community, and that was just beautiful. Meeting them in the book fair, having them come on board and we share a meal with them, and they teach us Filipino sign language. It was an amazing, amazing experience. Yes, the Philippines is the place to go. They have a tagline that says it's more fun in the Philippines. And guys, it is. It's a beautiful country. Again, it was tropical, so I had no problem. The only place I went to that was not kind of cold. It was freezing when we went there. It was Hong Kong. No snow, but it was like legit experience, 12-degree weather. I'm like, God, I'm mad about this life. But that's for another video, guys. I think that's going to be the next destination, the Hong Kong. Yeah, so guys, you stuck with me, you know, another Car Chronicles, even though it's Testimony Tuesdays. And I really hope you enjoyed the video, and look out for the photographs, guys. You know, I gotta put some photographs in there at the end. So until next time, remember, Jesus is the only way, the absolute truth, and the abundant life. Peace out, guys.